Good morning, team. So today we will start our session with certain MCQs, which we will cover up the concepts which we have done. So let's look at the very first question here. A dealer has quoted USD on INR as 82.80 oblique 83.20. But there is another dealer which has quoted 82.90 and ask is 83.10. We have to identify if there is any possible arbitrage opportunity here. So, do you see any arbitrage opportunity? Is there any gain that one can make without taking any risk? Any answers, Sanjay?
Last time you said there is no arbitrage opportunity, but I could not understand why.
Right. So the logic is the bid is always less than ask. So if there are two quotes, one is rupee by dollar is 82.80. That means this dealer is quoting that if he'll sell the dollars to him, he'll pay you 82.80. And if you buy the dollars from him, he will charge 83.20. And there is another quotation here, rupee by dollar, through another dealer, which is saying 82.90 oblique 83.10. So if the bid of any dealer is more than ask of any another dealer, only then arbitrage opportunity would arise. Okay. So, for example, in this question, if I go to this dealer, I can buy for 83.20 and I can sell for 82.80. But if I go to dealer 2, I can buy for 83.10 and sell for 82.90. Now just imagine if this was instead of 82.80, if this figure I changed to 83.15, right? So this one is quoting bid 83.15 and ask 83.20. What can I do? I can buy from this dealer. So if you buy from dealer 2, buy the dollars from dealer 2 at 83.10 and sell the dollars to dealer 1 at 83.15. Okay. So this bid is more than the ask of some other dealer. Bid should always be less than ask, otherwise there would be an arbitrage opportunity. But what is happening here? If you buy from dealer 2, what will he charge you? He will charge you 83.10. And if you go to dealer 1 and sell your dollars, what is he going to pay you? 83.15. So buy from dealer 2 83.10 and sell to dealer 2 83.15, and you gain 5 paisa per every dollar. And there is an arbitrage opportunity. Is it clear, Sanjay, now?
Yes, clear now. Yes, got it.
But in this
Thank you.
question, we don't see this opportunity because this
Yes,
one
there
is
is no
selling for 83, but you can sell for this. If you buy from this one, 83.20, and you can sell at 82.90. So In this case also, the ask is more, and in this case also, the ask is more. There is no arbitrage possible. Good. Next question. An Indian importer has to pay USD 100,000 after 3 months. The current spot rate is 83 USD and 3 months forward rate is rupee 84 per USD. The 3-month domestic interest rate is 6% per annum and US interest rate is 3% per annum. Importer uses a money market hedge. What is the approximate rupee outflow today? Any answers, Sanjay? Any thoughts? You will all use your calculators simultaneously to work in these sessions and try to solve the MCQ. So what is the situation here? There is an Indian importer. He has to pay USD. So when you have to pay USD, you have to create a scenario where you should have USD received. And you will receive when will you receive? If you will invest. So if you want to receive 100,000 USD, you must invest in US. What is the rate in US? 3% per annum. So how much you have to invest? But you don't have to invest 100,000. Invest the present value. So whatever the foreign currency you're talking about, you have to invest there. 100,000 divided by 1.0075. Why 0075? Because it is 3 months. So you will divide 3 by 400 and then you will add 1. So the present value will be, has to be invested. For that you need how many dollars today? You need 99,255 point something, so I'll round off to $256. Now, how will you get this? You will borrow it in the local currency. So, for that you have to borrow it, how many rupees? Using the current spot rate. Current spot rate is 83. Okay. So, roughly, you're going to borrow today 82,38,248. Now the question is, what is the rupee outflow today? So that is the right answer. If it was asked, what would be the outflow after 3 months? Then first you have to convert it into how much you will borrow today. And then you have to repay. So outflow today, this much you will borrow, and outflow after 3 months you will repay with interest. So outflow 82,38,248 to get $99,256. But where is that money coming from? By borrowing from the Indian market or the domestic market, and this you will repay together with interest. So what is the interest in the domestic currency? That is 6%. So 6 divided by 400 plus 1. So it will be very convenient for you to do it on the calculators if you have 3% and 3 months. So if it is 3 months, divide by 400. If it is 6 months, divide by 200. If it is monthly, divide by 1200 and just add 1. So 6 divided by 400 plus 1. This becomes 82,38,248 has to be multiplied by 1.015. So 83,61,82 would be the outflow after 3 months. But what is the question? Be careful. Outflow today to get the US dollars. The right answer here would be B. 82,38,248. Right? Clear? So
Clear.
Clear, ma'am.
thank you. Try out this one on similar pattern. Euro 5 lakh payables. But this time who's paying? A US importer. So for the US importer, domestic currency is dollars.
Dollar. And he will create receivable.
Euro is payable. So what will you do? Using for money market hedge, create euros receivables. Exactly same amount. For that, deposit in European zone. How much? Present value of 500,000 or 5 lakh. And how will you use the present value? At what rate? The rates applicable in Europe, Eurozone rather, because Britain is no more a part of European nations now. 4% per annum. And how what is the period? 3%, 3 months. So 4 divided by 400, it's 0.01 and plus 1, so 1.01. 500,000 divided by 1.0. This is what you will deposit. And how will you get this money? How many will you get this euros? These euros you will get from the spot by borrowing in the spot market at the spot rate. So you need to invest 4,95,050 euros. And 495,050 will be available in the spot rate at how many dollars you will get per euro. So the rate is $1.1 per euro. So 495 into 1.1. You need to invest today 5 lakh. $44,554 USD. So we can round it off to 600 if you want, in multiples of 100 if you want. So whatever the answers are in the options, basis the options, you can round off your figures. Now again, the same question is asked. How much should he invest in US dollars? So the right answer is investment in he has to borrow will be 44,600. This he will repay together with interest at the rate of 2%. So the outflow after 3 months for repaying this loan would be 544,600 multiplied by 1.005. 2% divided by 400 is 0.5%. By 4, if you divide, it's 0.5%, and 0.5% 100 is 0.005. So 1.005. Okay, clear, Sanjay? Let's move on to the next.
Yes.
Any answers on this? UK company has receivables 1 million or 1 crore, 10 lakhs. Okay. After 3 months. So it's not a money market hedge. What is the hedge? Future. You can take a future. Now, since technically what happens is how you calculate the receivables. Because you have receivables, you are fearing that the currency may not fall. So you will sell the dollar futures. and you will sell, let's say, at 0.79. And if you receive, you will compare it with the future rate in after 3 months. That will be your future gain or loss. However, and you will also ensure that you sell your USD in the spot rate after 3 months. But since in this question, let's say that there is no risk, no basis risk, let's say the spot and future will converge. So when the spot and future rates are exactly same after 3 months, when they converge, also the contract size exactly matches. There is no fraction. So just like forward rates, the future rates will also get locked in. So how much you are getting per dollar? You are getting 0.79 pounds per dollar. So by selling 10 lakhs USD or 1 million USD, you will get 0.79.
$790,000.
So this will pounds. Okay. He is a UK company. He is receiving USD, which he will convert into his local currency or his currency, home currency, which will be pounds. So for a UK person, the final outcome would be in pounds. These many pounds per dollar. So $1 million will give 0.79 million or 7,90,000 pounds. Right? So this is not the exact manner in which we calculate what is the amount of inflow or outflow using futures. But as only one rate is given, no spot and future rates are given after 3 months, we'll assume that there was no basis risk. The rates converge and there is no difference in the contract size. So we have kind of locked our receivables at 0.79 pound per dollar. Right? So the dollar is at $0.79 pound. Next, a US exporter will receive INR 5 million in 6 months, spot rate 83, 6 months forward 82, US interest rate 4%, Indian interest rate 6%. What will you do under a money market hedge? So no calculations, just finding out the strategy. Yes, Sanjay? Anyone else?
Would it be B, borrow USD, convert to INR, invest INR?
Okay. So who
Then
you are?
we will increase payable. May stand for payable. And for payable, we will first borrow the.
You are a US exporter.
Yes, ma'am.
You have INR 5 million receivable.
Receivable. In this stand, we will make payable.
So you should have INR payable. Right?
Yes, ma'am.
How will you have, if you want to have payables after 3 months, for that you need to borrow in INR. Okay? But borrow not exactly 5 million, borrow the present value of 5 million. Borrow in Indian rupees, present value of 5 million. What is the rate in India? 6%. So 5 million divided by 1.015. So borrow in INR, convert it into USD and invest in USD. Okay. So what will happen? You will receive INR 5 million. So what is the answer here? US exporter will receive INR 5 million. You have receivables. So you should have INR payable. If you want to have payable, you will borrow in INR. That is the present value of 5 million. Where will you get these many INRs? By ensuring converting it in from the USD dollars today, right? So borrow USD. If you want to create INRs, payables, you have to borrow the INR. So what is the final answer now? Don't assume this tick. Is it clear?
Yes.
Receivable is INR. So you have to create a payables in INR. You will create payables only if you will borrow in INR. So borrow INR, convert it into USD, invest in USD, and make sure that you have, that is what you will receive after 6 months. So it's 6%. 6 months means 6% divided by 200. So 1.03, 5 million divided by 1.03. That is what you have to borrow. Okay. The borrowed money will then be converted into USD and invested in USD, which will give you whatever the amount you invest into 1.02. So A should be the right answer here. Got it?
Got it, ma'am.
UK importer wants to pay euro 200,000. UK importer. For him, the home currency is pound and he wants to pay. This is a good question here. Can you give me the answer for this? Try it out. It's not a simple question like how much is the inflow today, outflow today, or how much you will borrow or invest. The question is, what is the effective money market hedge rate, right? Any answers? All right, let's look at it again, stepwise. UK importer has payables in euro. How much? 2 lakhs or 200,000. 6 months. How many market hedge will come? You create receivables in euro. How will you create receivables? By depositing in euro. What rate? 3% per annum, which makes it 2 lakhs divided by 1.015. 3 divided by 200 plus 1. So you need to deposit 200,000. 197,044.335. So you can say 1,97,045, let's say. Where will you get the money to deposit? For that, you will have to borrow in UK using the spot rates. What is the spot rate? Pound to euro is 0.88. Okay. And 6 months forward is 0.89. So 1 pound is 1 euro is 0.88 pound. So 197,045 is into 0.88. You will have to borrow 173,400 approximately, these many pounds. And when you will repay together with interest, what is the rate of interest in UK? it's 5%. So this you will repay together with interest 1.025. 5 divided by 200 plus 1. So 173,400 divided by or multiplied by 1.025. You need to end up paying 1,77,735 pounds. So what is the effective rate you have created using the money market hedge? It's 177,735 on 200,000 or 2 lakhs. So this comes out to be approximately 0.884. Right? So it's not asking what is the outflow. The question here that is being asked is, sorry, it's 0.888 here. Clear? So 200,000 euros have to be paid. For that, you create receivables using the rate of interest applicable in Europe. And you invest the present value of that, which is 197,044.3 euros. Now, how will you get 197,044 euros? You need to convert it into pound at the prevailing interest spot rate, which is 0.88. So you will need to borrow 173,399. So roughly 173,400 pounds, which you will convert into euros and invest in European zone. So 173,400 when you will borrow, this you will have to repay together with interest of 2.5% for 6 months. So 177,735 is your outflow. So your effective rate of interest or the effective hedge rate will become 0.888675. So this is the outcome. I hope it is clear. This one is a theoretical one, no calculations involved. Which of the following is not a form of hedging against currency risk? Quickly.
Spot market transaction.
Spot market transaction.
The spot market transactions. Forward, future, money market, all these are the ways in which you can hedge against any currency risk. Good. So these were some of the questions, MCQs, which we had completed for the previous session. For today's session also, we will take up some of the MCQs towards the end of the session. So let's start once again with our questions related to the Forex. You have following quotes from Bank A, Bank B. Bank A is also giving you the 3-month and 6-month forward rates. Swap points are given again. And similarly, the spot rate for pound and USD is also given. Again, swap points for 3 months and 6 months. Whereas Bank B is giving the spot today against dollar and Swiss franc. If you remember, this indicates the code for Swiss franc. And pound and dollar is also given. First question is how much minimum Swiss franc amount you have to pay for 1 million pound on the spot. So what is the question asking? Minimum. The word is minimum. So how will you calculate the minimum? You will compare the rates of Bank A and Bank B spot. And then you will find out where your outflow is minimum. So how much Swiss franc you have to pay for 1 million GBP. That means you are going to buy 1 million pound. For that you have to pay in Swiss franc. So when you are buying a currency, ask rate would be applicable, right? So far clear? Is the question clear?
Clear.
Clear.
Great. So how much minimum Swiss franc you have to pay for 1 million GBP? That means we are going to buy 1 million pound and ask rate would be applicable. Ask rate for what? If we have this figure, Swiss franc upon pounds. So we are interested in this and we are interested in this. Now let's look, do we have a quotation directly with Swiss franc and pound? No. The first one is Swiss franc on dollars. So $1 is 1.4650 oblique 1.4655. This is for bank A. And the second quotation in the spot market for bank A is one GBP and how many USD? That's 1.7645 oblique 1.7660. So we have 1 USD is equal to how many Swiss francs and 1 pound is equal to how many dollars? Okay. What do we need? We need Swiss franc by pounds. So if you multiply the two, right? This will cancel. Instead of USD, I should write here also dollars so that it's clear for you. What is left with you is Swiss franc upon pounds. What is the rate we need? Ask. So multiply the two. So the first bank is quoting us this much. So how much we have to pay? That means we will want to pay least. Okay, minimum. So calculate this. How much for buying these many pounds, how much you have to pay? 1.4655 multiplied by 1.7660. So you have to end up paying
2.588.
2.588. Okay. Just for the sake of comparison, you can take it with the next decimals also. Okay. Because we don't know what answer we'll get here. Because one of the, now in bank B, we don't need to calculate the cross currency rates and we don't need to figure out what we have to do. Everything is same. So you simply will multiply.
Yes.
These two. Now we know that if you will multiply, if this figure is higher, you'll get a higher result. But because this is less, therefore you need to actually calculate and find out which one is lesser. 1.4660 multiplied by 1.7650. This is again 2.58749. Okay. Right. So bank A is giving this and bank B is giving 2.585 or 749. As we have taken up to 2 decimals, 3 decimals here, just although the rates are almost similar, but just because this is slightly less, so we'll go by bank B. Okay. Although all the answers are almost exactly similar, 2.588 and 2.587, but despite that, it will create significant impact when you're going for 1 million pounds. So you'll definitely look at even the third digit, that is 2.587. Now, why did I say just have a look at these digits also somewhere? Just keep them in mind, because if this had been 2.588, we would have said that we are taking up to 4 decimals, 5 decimals in order to compare, and wherever we find the difference, we will choose that, because when you multiply it by 10 lakhs, 10 lakhs has 6 zeros. So if the decimals are also up to 6 or 5 at least, they will make a small impact. And because we have to make a comparison, we will save each pound, Swiss franc. So the final answer would be that how much you have to pay minimum. So we're going with bank B, and we will end up paying 2.587 million Swiss franc. Now, second part, considering the quotes from bank A only. For 1 pound and how much Swiss franc, what are the implied swap points for spot over 3 months? What is the question? Implied swap points over 3 months. So firstly, what is relevant to us is this and this. Only bank A. Okay, so we'll copy this data here. Swiss franc on dollar rates are given. $1.4650 and 1 point. Swap points 5 and 10. Therefore, 3 months forward rate becomes 1.4655, right?
Yes.
Oblique 1.4665.
6.5.
You will add 10 to this and 5 to this. 1 pound against USD 1.7645 and 60. Whereas the swap points given here are 25.20. So the 3 months forward rate will become 1 point, how much? Anyone wants to give an answer? 1.76?
7670.
They are decreasing.
Okay, we have to reduce it.
1.7620 oblique 1.7640.
40.
Now, the question asked is, what are the implied swap points for 1 pound Swiss franc? We want this. So first we'll have to find out what is the spot rate today. Bid and ask both. So the spot rate is 1.4650 multiplied by 1.7645. We'll keep it to 4 decimal places. It's 2.58499. I can round off to 2.5850. Okay. And the ask is 1.4655 multiplied by 1.7660. Two point five triple eight double eight zero 1. Again, calculate the same rates using the 3 months forward rates. So after 3 months, it comes out to be 1.4655 multiplied by 1.7620, 2.5822 oblique 1.4665 multiplied by 1.7640, 2.5869.
69.
Right. Now what we have to calculate this figure. So from 5850, it has become 5822. How much is the decrease? 28?
28.
You can calculate in working note. It will be 0.0028. Ask 2.5881 minus 2.5869. Right?
Yes, 12 points.
So see, we have decreased and the swap points are also decreasing. So what is the final answer? What is the swap points for Swiss franc to pound after 3 months? So these have also been calculated using the cross currency rates for spot and forward and then making a comparison. Clear? So this answer is 28/12 and this answer is 2.587 million. When you are doing the questions, you can do one thing while attempting the answers. Final answer you can write again so that it is very well visible that what is the answer you have presented. So first answer is the minimum Swiss franc you will pay is, you write the complete step here, complete sentence, 2.587 million and the swap points after for 3 months are 28/12. Okay? Right? Is it clear?
Clear.
Yeah.
Next. Let's go to the next question. Slightly different from whatever we have been calculating so far. Drill Dip Incorporation is a US-based company. It has won a contract in India for drilling the oil field. Project will require an initial investment of rupees 500 crores and the oil field along with equipment will be sold to the Indian government for rupees 740. So you're investing 500 crores and the revenue you will generate is 740 crores. After what time? 1 year. Since the Indian government will pay the amount in Indian rupee, you are what? You are US based. For you, the home currency is US dollar. Now, you're getting the money in rupee. So, if rupee depreciates, maybe you will not get as much profit as you would have if there was no depreciation. If rupee appreciates, it's very good. But if rupee will depreciate, the US company will stand to lose. So Indian government has said that the payment will be made in Indian rupee. When we say it in Indian rupee, that means the invoice is in Indian rupee And company is now worried about the exposure due to the exchange rate volatility. Particularly, the worry is that rupee should not depreciate.
Because the payment will be made after 1 year, na ma'am.
Payment is made after 1 year firstly, so the exchange rate today is okay, but after 1 year, the rupee, if it depreciates, if it is at discount against dollars, the US company will stand to lose. Okay. Now just imagine $1 is for 50 rupees. So 740 divided by 50, that much amount this person will be getting in dollars. But if, let's just do it, 740 divided by 50. So he'll be getting $14.8. $14.740 crores. He'll end up getting 14.8 crores. But if dollar becomes double, that means 1 USD is rupee 100. That means the rupee has depreciated and dollar is at premium. How much he ends up getting? 7.4. Right? Now, initially, he is making an investment of 10 crores. 740 by 50. Sorry, investment 500 by 50. So he is making an investment of 10 crores. If it remains exactly same, 740 by 50, so he ends up getting 14.8 crores. Right? So he stands to gain 4.8 crores in dollars. Right? I'll explain again. What it is saying is, investment is how much? 500. And revenue or returns are how much? Total returns, total amount you will receive, revenue?
740 crores.
740. If both the things were in terms of rupee, he would have stand to gain 240 crores. But let's say both the terms are to be converted into dollars. This means investment is 10 crores, right? 500 by 50. Convert in dollars, investment is 10 crores. And the revenue would be 14.8 crores. So you stand to gain 4.8 crores in USD. But provided that the exchange rate remains same. There's no fluctuation. Okay. So when you divide 500 by 50, you get 10. And when you divide 740 by 50, you get 14.8. But what if rupee depreciates? Let's say the conversion rate becomes 1 US dollar is equivalent to rupee 100. So in the spot rate, your investment will still be 10 crores. If rupee depreciates after 1 year. So investment is at the spot rate. So your initial investment is still 10 crores. But after 1 year, 740, instead of dividing it by 50, now you will divide it by 100. Because that is what you are going to get. You're going to get 740 in terms of rupee. But because 1 USD is equal to 100 rupee, you will end up getting 7.4 crore USD, which means there would be a loss of 2.6 crores dollars. $10 million. Okay. So this was a profit just because the exchange rate has fluctuated and the rupee has been significantly depreciated against dollar in 1 year. Instead of incurring profit, you are now at loss. So when you are making an investment in a foreign currency, in a foreign country, you just not look at what are the inflows and outflows in terms of how much is investment and how much is the revenue. You will also have to worry about the exchange rate fluctuation. So that's why, because you are exposed, you must hedge yourself against this volatility. Now, how can you do that? So, one is you're required to construct a swap that will help the drip dip to reduce the exchange rate risk. So, we will do a swap arrangement. Currency swap here would mean that at present, using the current exchange rate, there is a swap that he will give dollars and the other party will give him rupees. And exactly after 1 year, he will hand over him the rupees and the other party would give him the dollars. So there would not be whatever the rate has been agreed upon between both the parties. It can be same or it can be different. So that's a swap arrangement. So first is construct a swap that will help the drill dip to reduce the exchange rate risk. And B, assuming that the Indian government offers a swap at spot rate, which is 1 USD equal to 50 in 1 year. That means the Indian government is saying, okay, you give us 1 million USD, we'll give you 50 million rupees. And after 1 year, you give us back the 50 million rupees and we'll hand over to you exactly 1 million. So then should the company opt for this option or should it do nothing? The spot rate after 1 year is expected to be US dollar 54. Further, you may also assume that drill dip can also take a US loan at 8% per annum. Okay, so this assumption would be there that you are assuming that he is taking a US loan at 8% per annum. Is the question clear?
Yes, ma'am.
So, solution number 1, investment in US current spot rate
50 rupees.
ten crores or okay 100 million. Now, first part is what is the swap arrangement? So what will happen? The US investor will swap 10 crores USD and get 500 crore INR today. And after 1 year, he will again swap. He will be receiving the money from, right?
740.
Indian government. So he will swap but out of 740, the swap is for 500, okay? So he will swap the 500 rupees INR and get US dollars. How much will depend upon the swap rate which has been offered to him, okay? At the rate whatever has been offered. Here the Indian government is offering 50, same rate at which is spot. So therefore he would be getting exactly 10 crores. 500 divided by 50. Right? So this is the swap arrangement. Today you give 10 crore USD, you get 500 crore rupee. And after 1 year, you give 500 crore rupees and you get your 10 crore USD back. Okay?
Ma'am, and for other 240?
The 240 will be exchanged in the spot market after 1 year, whatever the rate.
Okay.
Okay. So let's say we have to calculate here. This is the first part. Second part, what is his gain or loss if he does the swap? So let's say if there is no swap, there is no swap arrangement. Outflow in US dollar,
10.
10 crores. Where will you get this 10 crores? By borrowing. Okay. It has been made an assumption that you are going to borrow. At what rate? 8% per annum. Okay. So you will end up paying 0.8 crores or 80 lakhs. Will be the interest. Borrow 10 crores USD and you have to pay interest on borrowings. So outflow in USD would be 10 crores and receipts after 1 year. ₹740 crores INR, right? Exchange rate expected after 1 year, 54. Okay?
Yes, 54.
So $740 divided by 54 crores. He ends up getting
13.7037.
7037 crores. And after that, he has to repay the 10 crores together with interest. So 10.80 crores USD he has to repay. What is left with him? 2.9 crores is his net profit. Okay. We can round off 9037 crores. What is this? US dollar. Try to convert the crores into million or something in US dollars. Okay. Because generally the lakhs, crores, these systems do not work there. So maybe you can present your answer in terms of millions. Okay. 10 lakh is 1 million. So 10 crores is 100 million. Okay. Fine. This is if there is no swap arrangement. This is your answer if there is no swap arrangement. So what is the benefit? 2.9037 crores is what he's earning if he's not making any swap arrangement. Let's see what if he makes a swap arrangement with the government of India. So firstly, he will give 10 million or how much is the amount? 500 crores divided by 50, 10 crores. So $100 million he will give to you, Indian government, and get INR 500. Right? Once again, 100 million he will borrow, so he will have to pay 8 million interest. This is your working note, right? So far clear? What will happen after 1 year? After 1 year, when he will receive the 740 crores, from there, he will give the INR 500 to the government of India again and get it converted into 100 million and the remaining 240 crore rupees will be converted into INR, converted into USD at 54. So 240 divided by 54. He ends up getting 4.44 million. 240 crores divided by 54. So 44.4 millions. I'll take it here. If swap arrangement is made with Government of India, which offers swap at the rate of rupee 50 per dollar after 1 year. So, step 1, borrow 100 million USD and swap with the Government of India and get it rupees 500 crores. Today. Step 2, invest in India. Rupee 500 crores. After 1 year, receive revenue 740 crores. INR 740 crores. Swap arrangement was there. So, under the swap arrangement, pay INR 500 and receive $100 million. Convert balance 240 crores INR into dollars using exchange rate 54. Rupee by dollar is equal to 54. So you end up getting 240 divided by 54. Okay. 4.44 crores, which is equivalent to $44.4 million. Repay the borrowed amount of $100 million with interest at the rate of 8%. Okay. So you'll end up repaying 108 million USD. So what is left with you after this? 36.5 144.4 minus 108. You're left with 36.4 million USD. You have hedged yourself for the investment, not for the revenue profit, but only for the investment. So if you go for a swap arrangement, you are getting 36.4 million. But if you're not going for swap arrangement, you are getting 2.9037 crore or 29.37037 million. So no swap arrangement, 29.037 million. But with swap arrangements, you are getting 36.4 billion. So it is definitely better to get a swap arrangement with the government for 500 crores. Okay? Is the question clear and solution clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, clear.
Great. So look at this. Drill Dip Incorporation is a US-based company. It has got a contract. Initial investment is 500 crores. And after 1 year, you are going to get a return of 740 crores. The payment will be done in Indian currency. But you being a US person should be worried about the depreciation in rupee. Therefore, you would want to ensure that how you hedge yourself against this volatility of exchange rate. So you can construct a swap, which means you can pay the dollars now and get rupees. And after exactly 1 year, you will pay as many rupees and get the dollars. If the exchange rate for the swap is something different, maybe you will have to pay a little more. So Indian government offered the swap at the spot rate itself, that you get us the amount in dollars, will give you the money in rupees, 500 crores. After 1 year exactly, those 500 crores you hand it us back to us, and we'll convert it back to the US dollar at the rate of 50 rupee per dollar. So the 500 crores would be exchanged. There would be absolutely no problem. This 500 crore, which is equivalent to 100 million, the US person will not get it from his own pocket. He's borrowing it at 8%. So 8 million would be the interest that is to be paid. Right? So the only problem will be to bear the fluctuation of 240 crores, not the entire 740 crores.
Ma'am, through this method, we will able to ensure our cost. We will only have a risk or exposure to our profit only, na?
Profit is remain unhedged and the investment has been hedged.
Okay.
If you want to hedge the profit as well, you may enter into a forward contract or future contracts also for that. Okay. Currency swap would be for exactly 500 crores today, will be exchanged for 500 crores in after 1 year. For the profit part, you can use some other hedging strategy also. And for the profit part, if you feel comfortable, you can remain unhedged, as in this question. The profit element has been unhedged. Therefore, the profit was converted using the exchange rate of 1 USD is equal to 54 rupees. Okay. Shall we move ahead?
Yes.
Okay.
Ma'am,
Yes.
profit also we cannot swap. Why?
So you go for a swap of 740. When you're doing a currency swap, the investment would be, the amount would remain same, no? If this
Okay,
is
that is
10
one of the
crore,
condition.
it will remain same.
Okay.
You pay this much now, you get exactly the same amount after 1 year. Same in the sense, the Indian government offered at 50 only. If the Indian government had offered the swap arrangement at 52 or 51 or 53, then after 1 year, the 100 million would get a little, maybe a different amount. Okay. Depending upon what you get after 1 year, may be a little different. Here, what is happening exactly in the swap arrangement is, this is the US company. This is the Indian government. So what is happening? Swap arrangement today is, it gives 100 million. And this gives 500 crores. Okay, right? This is the currency swap between US and the Indian government. After 1 year, you have to reverse this. So after 1 year, what will happen? The US will give the 500 crores. So the swap would be complete. Okay. Now the Indian government has given the rate at 50. The Indian government has given the rate at, the swap rate is at 50 rupee per dollar. Okay. If the US Indian government had given the swap rate at 52, then 500 divided by 52, he may have got 9.61 million. 96.1 million, sorry. Okay. Because the swap exchange rate was not at exactly 50 but 52. So then in that case, he would have got 96.115 million for 500 crores. And $96.15 million here, and 44.4 million here, then minus 108. So 96.1 plus 44.4 minus 108. Then he would have got 32.5 only. Okay. But still the swap arrangement would have given him more revenue as compared to the 29 point something million in USD. Got it? So when you're doing a swap, it is important that the amount principal will remain same. However, this could fluctuate. But here it did not fluctuate because the government has given the swap at $1 equal to 50 in 1 year. So the spot is also same and the swap is also same. Therefore, it is not making any difference here. So you give 100 million USD today and get 500 crores. Exactly after 1 year, you give the 500 crores and you get 100 million back. Okay?
Okay.
Let's now look at question number 22. Right? I hope there's no confusion. Suppose you are a dealer of ABC Bank, and what is happening on 20th October 2014, you found that your balance in your Nostro account with XYZ Bank in London is 65,000 pounds. Okay? And you had an overbought position of pound 35,000. You are a dealer of ABC Bank. You have a Nostro account with XYZ Bank in London, where you have 65,000 pounds and you have an overbought position of 35,000 pounds. Following transactions have taken place and there is certain requirement towards the end. What steps would you take if you are required to maintain a credit balance of pound 7,500 in the Nostro account and an overbought position of pound 75? Okay. So before taking up this question, let's understand once again what are nostro-postro accounts. So here I'll talk about first nostro account. Nostro account we can say is our account with you. So as an example, it means if I am an Indian bank, okay, let's assume any bank ABC, and I have kept an account somewhere in, let's say, US Citibank. So what I have done is I have maintained an account at USA in US Citibank in dollars, and the money that I have there is in dollars. So maintaining an account in a foreign country with that bank in foreign currency. So it's the home currency of US, but for us it is in dollars. So our account with you. So what the Indian bank is saying, we are keeping an account with a US bank, and the money that is kept there is in dollars. This is a nostro account for the Indian ABC bank. Okay. Similarly, the same account can be said as a vostro account from the US Citibank. Vostro means your account with us. Not US, your account with us, which means that Citibank USA is saying, okay, we agree that the Indian bank has an account with us where the Indian bank has kept the money in dollars. So this is a vostro account for the US Citibank. So far clear? What is a nostro account? What is a vostro account? So whenever this Indian bank or any client or customer of this bank is making an import of machinery or anything from USA and it wants to make the payment to the US exporter, it can tell the Indian bank to make the payment, and the Indian bank will instruct the US Citibank to make the payment in dollars to that exporter. So the Indian client bank will be able to serve its Indian clients if ever they need to make any payment in the USA using dollars. And even if they are exporters, if they are receiving any payment, the Indian bank can receive that payment on behalf of the client in the US Nostro account. There is a third type of account which is called a Loro account. Now, supposing you do not have any account in ABC Bank, you have an account on, let's say, a small Indian bank, XYZ Indian Bank. So your account is in XYZ Indian Bank. However, you also imported a machinery from US and you want to make the payment to the US exporter. But your bank does not have a Nostro account. So XYZ will approach ABC and will ask the ABC bank to make the payment on behalf of their client. So ABC will request the US bank, Citibank, to make the payment to that client. So ABC will act like an intermediary in between the XYZ bank and US bank, Citibank. Okay? So Loro means their account with you. So here XYZ bank is saying, please make the payment to my client to the on behalf of my client to the US exporter from their account which you have with you, from ABC's account which you have at Citibank, right? So let's say in India, HDFC has an account in US Citibank. So for this, where the money is kept in dollars, so for HDFC, this is a Nostro account. For Citibank, it is a Vostro account. But when, let's say, Canara Bank in India asks Citibank to make a payment to an exporter in US from this account of HDFC, then Canara Bank has made an arrangement with HDFC that they'll make the payment in Indian rupees to the HDFC within India. But for the US exporter, the payment would be made through the HDFC's account, which they have with Citibank in US. So Canara Bank is saying, please make the payment from their account with you. So these are the three types of accounts which are kept, and most of the, because there is globalization, because there is a lot of multinational transactions, we have subsidiaries in many countries, many of the multinational operations are very common nowadays. So most of the banks, to facilitate their clients, do ensure that they keep Nostro accounts in different countries in their home currency. So this is the first part, to be able to understand what is a Nostro account, what is a Vostro account, and what is a Loro account, right? Now here, what is happening? You are in ABC Bank. Let me assume you are an Indian here. Your Nostro account is in London with the XYZ Bank. So for ABC Bank in India, it is a Nostro account. For XYZ Bank in London, it is a Vostro account. Now you have two positions. One is 65,000 pounds balance in your Nostro account in XYZ Bank in London is 65,000 pounds. And you also have an overbought position of 35,000 pounds. And the following transactions have taken place during the day. So you have to ensure what is the situation after these transactions and what are your balances left.
Now, what is this overbought 35,000 pounds?
I'm just coming on to that. What is this overbought is? So firstly, you have understood what is Nostro, Vostro, and Loro accounts. The next thing you need to understand is that you maintain two types of position in these accounts. One is the exchange position and one is a cash position. So when we say exchange position, supposing if you understand derivatives already, let's say you have bought 100 future contracts on US dollar, right? So you have bought, you are a buyer of 100 future contracts on US dollar. One USD has a standard size of 1 million USD. So you have an exposure of how much? 100 million US dollars, right? Let's say you buy the US dollar at 83 and you assume that the dollar will fluctuate to 84. So you are expecting to get 1 rupee on $1 gain. You are speculating. Expected exchange rate is supposed to be 84 and it actually turns out to be 84. The future after 3 months becomes 84. So you stand to gain 1 rupee per dollar. So on 100 million USD, you will end up getting 100 million rupees, right? But when you bought this 100 future contracts, was there any movement of cash? When you enter into a forward contract, when you enter into a future contract, is there any position, anything that has actually moved in from your cash account? Let's assume
No.
there are no margins, right? Nothing will move. But that means, but you have a position. You still have an exchange position. That is that you are a buyer of 100 million USD. You have a bought position. Okay? Though no cash has been exchanged. So whenever you keep accounts, you may have an exchange position and you may have a cash position. So here also, whenever you make a transaction in a forward contract, you can have a forward buying. When you do a forward buying, forward selling, cash does not move, but your exchange position does change. Okay. So any transaction will impact the exchange position, any transaction. But cash position will be impacted only when there is an actual movement of cash. So it's an account. Whenever there is a purchase, it's credit. Whenever there is a sale, it's a debit. Okay. Similarly, in cash position, if you have a balance, it will be credit. If you have a overdraft balance, it would be a debit. We are speaking from the bank's perspective, right? Clear? Have I been able to take up your query? What we were asking? Overbought position. So that means there is some forward contract or something which is already showing a overbought or a oversold position. That's an exchange position. However, cash position would be when actual movement of cash will happen. Okay. Let's see this question. You will be able to understand it from here. So you are a dealer of ABC Bank in India, and on 20th October 2014, you found that the balance in your Nostro account with XYZ Bank in London, because the bank is in London, XYZ Bank, so you will be keeping money in the currency which is local currency or home currency for UK or London. So that means the money is kept in pounds. You have an overbought position of 35,000. So it is an indication that your exchange position is bought position. Whereas the balance in bank is 65,000. Cash position, debit or credit, you have a balance of 65,000. So from the XYZ Bank in London, it is a credit balance. Opening balance. Right? Now let's see what has happened. DD purchased 12,500. Purchased a bill 40,000. Sold forward TT. TT is telegraphic transfers 30,000. Forward purchase contract cancelled 15,000. Remitted by telegraphic transfers 37,500. Draft on London cancelled 15,000. Okay, so when you have demand draft purchase, when you have demand draft sold, when demand drafts are cancelled, or you enter into a purchase of a bill, or you cancel a bill, or you sell forward TT, you buy forward TT, you cancel a forward contract, all these transactions, and even when you make a remittance, when you make the payment by telegraphic transfer, all these transactions will affect the exchange position. However, cash position will be impacted only when you actually make a cash movement. So when you purchase a DD, there is no cash movement. When you purchase a bill on London, there is no cash movement. When you sell forward TT, no cash movement. When you have a forward purchase contract cancelled, there is no cash movement. However, when you're making a remittance by telegraphic transfer, that time the cash does move out. Okay, so this is the only transaction so far which is going to impact the cash position. Your pound 65,000 would be reduced by 37,500 because it is a remittance, making a payment. Then a draft has been cancelled. Again, cash has not moved anywhere. Okay, so all these are going to impact the exchange transactions, but cash is going to be impacted only by this one. So let's see, you had 65,000 pounds. Out of that, there was a remittance by telegraphic transfer of 37,500. So what is the credit balance that is left with you? 27,500, right? Agree?
Yes.
So cash position will be impacted only with the cash movement. No forward contract, DD purchase, bills purchased, forward contracts cancelled will impact the cash position. However, the question is demanding that you need to have a credit balance of how much pounds? 7,500 pounds. So what you will do is, you have a balance of 27,500. You are required to keep a credit balance of So if you have got 27,500 rupees, let's say, and you are supposed to keep only 7,500, what will you do? If
We
you
can
have,
utilize 20,000.
so you have to utilize or you have to spend 20,000 somewhere. Here we will sell the currency. So 20,000 we will dispose somehow. Okay. Cash position is clear now.
Yes.
The credit balance is 27,500. Action required will be make a sale of pounds. How much? 20,000. So when you sell 20,000 pounds, the credit balance left will only be 7,500, which is the required credit balance. Okay. So you had 27,500. From there, you make a sale of 20,000 pounds. So balance remaining with you is 75. Got it? Yes.
What do you mean? What do we mean by this selling?
We can buy currency, no, like any other commodity. So we had 27,500 pounds with us. We will sell the pounds. 20,000 pounds we'll sell somewhere by delivery.
Okay.
Okay. So what we will be left with is 7,500 pounds only, which is the requirement of the question. Now let's look at the exchange position. Can I, okay. I'm going to delete the cash position here. Hope this is clear. Then let's look at what is the exchange position. So let us look at the exchange position. You had an overbought position of 35,000 pounds. These transactions have taken place. DD purchased. Is it a buy or sell? When you purchase a DD, demand draft, for 12,500, is this position a bought position or a sold? Are you buying or selling? Yes. Anyone would like to answer? Leela, Vibhu, Sanjay? DD purchased. After this question, I'll go give you a break. But before that, you answer me this thing. Is it a DD purchased? Is it a buy position or a sell position?
Ma'am, it's
Sell
buy.
position.
We have purchased it.
Purchased, buy.
Yes.
Okay. Is cash moving or not? No cash. So this will come only in the exchange position. When you're taking the exchange position, it will not come in the cash position. So 12, you had already purchased overbought position of 35,000 pounds. Then you have also have,
Ma'am,
yes,
DD will give only when we paid the cash only.
no, we have purchased a demand draft, but transaction has not occurred so far, no?
Okay.
Then a bill has been purchased on London.
It's also, ma'am, buy from
It's
exchange.
also a buy, right? So bill purchased is also a buy, 30,000. Then sold forward TT, 30,000.
It's sell, ma'am.
Yeah. So another 40,000 purchased and sold forward TT. So it's a forward contract. Once again, no cash movement. In bill purchased also, no cash movement. 30,000 is sold. We'll write the pounds here only. So don't need to write again and again. £30,000 sold forward TT. Forward purchase contract cancelled, 15,000.
Credit, ma'am. Sales. Sales effect.
It will be a sale position, or a purchase position cancelled will be equivalent to sale position. So forward cancelled, forward purchase cancelled. So if it had been a purchase, it would have come here. But if it is a purchase cancelled, you will have a 15,000 sale position. Remitted by TT, telegraphic transfer, 75,000. Sorry. Remitted by TT, 37,500. Okay. Money is coming in or going out?
Going out.
$37,500. And draft on Zurich, draft on London cancelled, 15,000.
Inflow.
When you buy a draft, what happens? Draft on London has been cancelled. What steps would you take if you're required to maintain a credit balance of 7,500 in the Nostro account and you want to keep an overbought position of 7,500? So what is the position that we have now? Look at this. Purchases is 35,000. Then you have plus 12,500. Then you have plus 40,000. So your overbought, your position so far is 87,500 minus 30,000 sold forward TT minus 15,000, that is forward purchased cancelled, minus 37,500, which is 5,000, and you also have one more transaction, 15,000. Draft on London cancelled. So draft cancelled, I did not write the amount. It is 15,000. Okay. So the total will be still a overbought position of 20,000, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And how much is the overbought position required to be kept? 7,500. We have a overbought position so far of 2,500 minus 6,500 minus 15,000. So you have a overbought position of 20,000 so far.
Draft purchased and draft cancelled are on the same side.
This was DD purchased, so you have purchased, and this is saying draft on London cancelled. Okay, and you're supposed to keep a balance of how much? 7,500. Overbought position should be 7,500. But we have done one more transaction, if you see, in the cash position. What was the situation in cash position? Cash position was
Sold 20,000.
No, we have to keep a position of 7,500. So it was 65 and minus 37,500. 65 was the credit balance. And then you have paid, remitted by TT. $37,500. So the balance was
27,500.
27,500. And you have sold 20,000 to keep a credit balance of 7,500. Okay. So this sales will be reflected here also. And when you will do this sale, so there is an overbought position of 20,000. When this will be sold, you will have 20,000 sold. Okay. You had an overbought position which will be carried brought down 20,000. Now you have made this sales 20,000. So your exchange position will reflect nil, right? Agree? Clear or not? You had a cash position of 65,000. You needed to make a remittance of 37,500, which means that your cash position was 27,500 credit. The required cash position was supposed to be 7,500. Therefore, you have made a sale of the current pounds, 20,000. Now, this sale will also be reflected in the exchange position. Exchange position was overbought position 35, then DD purchased, bill on London purchased. These both will be added on the purchase side. Sale forward TT 30,000, sale side. Forward purchase contract cancelled 15,000. This will also be subtracted from the position or overbought position. Remittance will also go from here. And draft on London, which has been issued, but it has now been cancelled. So now it is 15,000. So these are your purchase position and these were your sale position. You still had an overbought position of 20,000. But now when you actually sold this currency to maintain the cash position of 7,500, when this sales will come here, this exchange position will be 0, nothing, right? But there is a requirement further that you need to keep a overbought position of 7,500. What is the action required then? What is the action required?
Sale.
We are selling here now 20,000.
So because every cash transaction will be reflected in exchange, but every exchange transaction does not reflect in cash position, right? So when you had a overbought position still of 20,000, but after maintaining the cash position of 7,500, for that you had to sell 20,000 pounds. Now when that sale of 20,000 pound was reflected in the exchange position also, your exchange position is now 0. No overbought, no oversold, right?
Yes.
There is no overbought position, no oversold position, but we still need to keep in the exchange position also 7,500.
And then we can bought future.
Yeah, so we will take a forward buy of 7,500 pounds. Good. So buy forward 7,500, which will be reflected in this position, and finally your credit balance would be a overbought position of 7,500 in the exchange positions. Okay, look at the question, think about it. We can go for a break after 10 minutes. If you have still any queries, we can take up from it, right? And we'll do one more similar question so that if there are still any doubts, they'll get sorted. Okay, thank you. We can start the break. So any doubt in this question, team? Once again, I'll just give you a quick recap of this. You are a dealer of ABC Bank, let's say in India. You have a Nostro account in XYZ Bank in London in which the balance is 65,000. So 65,000 credit is your cash position. And there is an exchange position where you have a overbought position of pound 35,000. So once again, in exchange position, all transactions are reflected, whereas in cash position, only those transactions are reflected where there is actual movement of cash. So in cash, you had a credit balance already of 65,000 pounds, whereas in exchange position, either you have a purchase or sale. This has an overbought position of 35,000. So from here, you will look that all transactions which impact the cash position will also impact the exchange position, but only those transactions which are forward contracts or DD purchased, bills purchased, sold or cancelled, they will not impact the cash position. They will impact only the exchange position. So DD purchased will reflect here. Bill purchased will reflect here. Purchased, you will again credit here. Sold forward DD, 30,000. Forward purchase contract, forward purchase was there, but it has now been cancelled. So it's equivalent to sale position. Then remitted by telegraphic transfer, 37,500. This will reflect here also, as well as here also. Then draft on London has been cancelled. So this is a draft cancelled. It will reflect here. So if you look at the cash position, you will have a credit balance of 27,500. Right? And if you will total this, 35 plus 12,500 plus 40 plus 15. This is 1,02,500. Whereas this side, the total is 82,500. So there is a overbought position still of 20,000, right? So exchange position is having a balance of overbought position, 20,000. And cash has a position of credit, 27,500. The question is demanding that you should have 7,500 as overbought position in exchange, as well as you should have 7,500 credit in the cash position in the Nostro account. So if you have got 27,500, you can sell the currency, the pounds, in spot market at telegraphic transfers of 20,000. This will have your balance left with 7,500, which is your required credit balance. Okay. Clear? This is what is required. But the impact of this is when you are selling the pounds in market at telegraphic transfer rates, so you will also have to show this in exchange position. which makes the exchange position balance nil. Right? But you are required to keep a overbought position of 7,500. So for that, buy forward pounds 7,500. Clear? This is what you are required. After having found the position, you can also write it in the form of a sentence rather than making an account, that since the cash credit balance is 27,500, whereas the exchange overbought position is 20,000. Now, in order to ensure that we maintain a credit balance of 7,500 pounds only, we will sell 20,000 pounds, and this will also impact the exchange position, and exchange position will become nil. So, in order to ensure that we have an overbought position of 7,500 pounds, you can't buy it in cash now. You have to buy it as a forward purchase forward TT for the 7,500 pound, which will impact only the exchange position, not the cash position. Any doubts, or shall we move forward? Yes, no?
Yes, sir.
Right. Clear? So I'm giving you 2 minutes to 3 minutes. Work it out on your calculators. How will you do this question? This is again, but this time your Nostro account is in Swiss francs in Switzerland, Zurich. So once again, you will write your exchange position and you will write your cash position. Balance in Nostro account credit. What does it mean? Talking about cash position, right? Opening position overbought. Purchase Swiss franc and sold Swiss franc. So you have a opening overbought position, which means it will be written in the purchase. Okay, you can guide me now. Purchased a bill on Zurich. What will happen to this? Cash position. Purchased a bill on Zurich. Where it will go? Exchange or cash?
Exchange position.
Only in the exchange position. And in the purchase side or sold? It will be added. So 50 plus 80. Then you sold forward TT. Where will it go? Only in the exchange position. Sold side this time 60. Forward purchase cancelled. Purchase has been cancelled. 30,000. Remitted by TT. Right? Anything else?
Yeah, this will come in cash position also.
This will come in cash position also. Good. So you have a cash position balance of 25,000. Last, draft on Zurich cancelled. So draft was issued, sold was there, and that has been cancelled. $30,000. This side total is 1,65,000. So this time we have a oversold position. Okay. Final outcome is there is a oversold position balance of 5,000. Right? There is a oversold position. So exchange position is oversold. $5,000 and cash position is a credit balance of 25,000. I'm repeating again and again. In doing the questions on Forex, it's very, very important that you write the currency at each step. So what steps would you take if you are required to maintain a credit balance of Swiss francs 30,000 in the Nostro account? How much do we have?
5,000.
We have 25,000, but we need to maintain a balance of 30,000. So what's the action? Purchase Swiss francs TT. So we'll purchase 5,000 Swiss franc. What will do this to the exchange position? There was an oversold position of 5,000. Now you have purchased. So 5,000 oversold position will get reduced to nil. Once you have purchased the Swiss franc 5,000 to maintain a credit balance of 30. How much is required to be kept as an overbought position? 10. So what will you do? Once again, purchase forward TT. How much? 10,000 Swiss franc. Got it? Is it clear? Yes, no? Vibhu, Sanjay, Leela, whatever. Whosoever wants to ask any question, please. Great. So this is how you understand the Nostro account, Vostro account, and Loro accounts. And this is how you will be addressing the practical questions on that by taking care of what are the transactions which impact the exchange position and what transactions impact the cash position. Further, find out the balances that you have in the exchange and cash position and compare it with what is required. So if there is a difference, you will have to ensure that you reach that required figure by either buying or selling to maintain the cash position. And if you buy in the currency in the current spot rate, this will also impact your exchange position. So only after you have adjusted the last transaction for cash, then see what is your balance in the exchange position. As in both the questions we saw that the exchange position was brought to nil because of maintaining the cash position at 30,000 here and in that question 7,500. So after that, when you see that you still require a exchange position of an overbought or oversold, you will do that through a forward contract. So you will buy or sell the foreign currency in a forward contract. Okay. All right. So let's now talk about one more very important concept in foreign exchange. So far, we have understood what are exchange rates, direct quotes, indirect quotes, forward rates, swap points, how the currency is at discount, when is it at premium, how you calculate the percentage premium discount, as well as we also saw that the foreign exchange exposure can be hedged using future contracts, option contracts, money market hedge, and all this. Or you can also leave the position unhedged. So if you leave it unhedged, there will be some risk. But now we will see that when you have taken a cover, when you have taken a position to cover yourself in the forward market or a future market. So if you've taken a forward cover, forward contract with a bank, to cover your exposure. That means you have entered into a contract with the bank. Okay. Now, what can happen with this contract which you have entered with the bank? Either this contract will get honored, which means, let's say you take delivery or you give the delivery, whatever the contract is, it has been honored. You may also cancel the contract. Second thing is you may cancel the contract. And there can be another thing which can happen is that you may demand an extension of contract. So let's say I was expecting to receive US dollar 50,000. I'm expecting that I'll receive US dollar 50,000 on, let's say, 15th November 2025. So if I actually receive the $50,000, if I'm expecting that, what is it I'll do to cover myself against the foreign currency fluctuation? Looking at the price of dollar, if it will keep on increasing, I might go unhedged also. But let's say I don't want to take any risk. So I see that I'm going to receive $50,000 on 15th November. I'll enter into a contract with the bank and I'll ask them that I'm going to receive 50,000. I want to sell 50,000 USD. I'll enter into a contract with the bank and I'll sell the 50,000 USD. Bank will apply the which rate? Bid rate. So if these are the two rates for, let's say, US dollars. So bank will say, okay, we're ready to pay you 65.75. Okay. So bid rate will be applicable. This is what I'm going to receive. So expecting to receive US dollar 50,000 on 15th November. On today, let's say on 29th October, I'll enter into a contract with the bank where I will tell them that on 15th November, I'll be receiving $50,000, which I'll sell to the bank. So bank will apply the bid rate and will offer me the rate, forward rate for the 15th November, whatever it is. Now on 15th November, when I actually receive the dollars, I will be able to give it to the bank and I will be able to honor the contract which I have entered into with the bank. This will not pose any problem on any of the parties. But let's say my contract gets cancelled. Whatever I had exported is now no longer required, or whatever I had expected to export today, tomorrow, is no longer required by the client. And that client says that he doesn't need any machinery or any product. So the contract gets cancelled. If the contract gets cancelled, it is evident that I'm not going to receive the $50,000 now. So I will go to the bank and I'll inform them that, sorry, I'm going to cancel the contract. So the contract gets cancelled. However, there can be a situation when the client said, okay, we don't need the machinery now, but we will need it after 10 days. So that means we are going to make the payment to you also on 25th of November. So the payment will also get extended by 10 days. So I need to not just cancel the contract which I have entered in for 15th November. I'll also go for a extension. I'll get into a new contract which will allow me to cover my receivables $50,000 now on 25th of November. So I might extend the contract also. So if the contract is delayed for some reason, you might need to extend it. Maybe by a month, 10 days, 15 days, whatever, but you will need to extend it, right? So these are the three outcomes if you enter into such kind of a contract. Now, one important thing here is if it is being honored on the delivery date, it's good. So when is it occurring? Is it occurring exactly on the date of delivery? So if I actually receive the $50,000 USD on 15th November, so the contract will be honored or it will be delivered exactly on that day. Sometimes there can be early delivery also, and sometimes there can be a late delivery also. Similarly, for the cancellation of the contract, I might be able to inform the bank exactly on 15th November on the due date. Maybe I am able to inform them before that, maybe on 10th November, 6th November, 7th November. So the cancellation can also occur exactly on the due date, before the due date, or maybe sometimes after the due date of the contract. Similarly, for extension, the extension may be requested on the due date, before the due date, or after the due date. So any of the contract that you enter with the bank may be honored, cancelled, or extended. And whatever you do, it can happen either on the due date, before, or after the due date. Now, important thing here is that when I enter into a contract that I'm going to sell bank $50,000, the bank will also cover itself through some other bank. So interbank rates would be applicable there. Because I have sold US dollars to the bank will sell it further to some other bank. Okay, so the bank would have also covered. So if I want to purchase dollars from the bank would have also entered into a contract to purchase those dollars. So if I'm going to sell, bank will receive the delivery and bank will sell it further to someone else. Okay. Bank does not keep itself uncovered. Bank will also cover. So let's now look at some of the questions here, right? Read this question. On 1st June 2015, the bank enters into a forward contract for 2 months for selling US dollar 100,000 at 65.50. So 1st June, forward contract 2 months. That means June and July. So 31st July is the date when the contract is to be honored. What is the contract that you have entered? The bank has entered into a forward contract for 2 months for selling US dollar. So bank will sell US dollar for 65.50. On 31st July 2015, the spot rates were 65.75 and 65.25. there is an arbitrage opportunity if this kind of rates are quoted. What is it? You will buy the dollars from the bank at 65.25 and sell it to the bank at 65.75. So maybe I'll make a little correction. This should not be possible. So let's make it 65.90 or 95. So the bank is quoting on 31st July, spot rate is 65.75 oblique 65.95. You have to calculate the amount to be debited in the customer's account. Bank enters into a forward contract. Bank will sell $100,000 at 65.50. So how much amount will the bank charge from the customer? How much will the bank receive if the spot rates are 65.75 and 65.95? Any answers? Yes, team. Any answers here? Bank has entered into a forward contract with the customer. Bank is going to sell $100,000 to the customer at 65.50. What will be the amount debited in the customer account if the spot rates are 65.75 and 65.95? Will the spot rate impact the transaction? What if the spot rates were 85.5 and 85.9? On 1st June 2015, there is a forward contract. Bank will sell US dollar 100,000.
Forward contract is a binding contract.
Right, at 65.50. So it is a binding contract. No matter whatever the spot rates are, they are irrelevant. Whatever they are, that is totally irrelevant here. So what is the rate applicable? This will be fixed at 65.50.
65.50. 65,50,000 will get.
65,50,000 would be debited from the customer account. He has to pay 65.50 because bank has entered into a forward selling contract with him. So bank will sell him $100,000 and customer will pay 65,50,000 INR rupees. Okay. So understood? This is the example when the contract is honored on the delivery date. So if everything is okay, the customer will have to be debited by 65,50,000. We'll do one more question here. Slightly different from what we have done previously. October 2015. Mr. X is an exporter. He has entered into a forward contract with BNP Bank to sell $100,000. So Mr. X is involved here. BNP Bank is here. Mr. X has sold. So the bank has a purchase position. Buy. We can see from the fact that Mr. X is an exporter. From that also it is quite evident that he will be receiving dollars Now, what will a person in India do with dollars? He has to sell it to the dealer or to a bank, authorized dealer. So he will sell 100,000 USD to the bank. Bank will buy at a forward contract. The rate is agreed at 65.40. So here, if everything goes well, it is on 31st December. So it's for 3 months. So after 3 months, on 31st December, Mr. X will actually receive $100,000 and he will give it to the bank, and bank will credit his account with 65,40,000. This is what should happen in the normal circumstances. However, due to the request of the importer, whosoever imported from Mr. X received the amount on 28th November 2015. So he received it early. So this is a case of early delivery. On 28th November, he's received the dollars. Now he's gone to the bank that please buy these dollars from me. The contract was for 31st December, but as Mr. X received the dollars on 28th November, he is moving to bank to sell these $100,000 to the bank. He is asking the bank to honor the contract early as it is a early delivery. So Mr. X requested the bank to take delivery of the remittance on 30th November 2015, that is before the due date. A situation of early delivery. Will the bank do it?
Not on forward contract.
May amend the terms that it may not on 65.4 but on 60.3 or something other date it will take.
Okay. Bank will agree with Mr. X. Bank will oblige Mr. X on a condition that any loss in the transaction will be borne by Mr. X. Okay. Bank will honor the contract at 65.40 only. But if there is any loss to the bank will recover it from Mr. X. Okay? Is it clear?
Clear.
Okay. Now, what will be the condition here? First thing is, what kind of losses can happen? One loss that can happen is of swap loss. What do we mean by swap loss? By swap loss, we mean that when bank is supposed to be receiving these dollars from the Mr. X, bank would have agreed or entered into a contract with another bank to cover itself. Okay. So bank is expecting to receive
65.4 per dollar.
Bank is expecting to receive $100,000 on 31st December, for which it has covered itself by selling these dollars in interbank rate. Okay. The bank would have covered itself that I will be receiving like dollars on 31st December, sell it to someone else. Will not this 31st December. So bank will have to buy these dollars from the interbank market. And I'm getting a message of internet problem. Are you able to hear me properly?
Yes, ma'am.
Voice
Now,
was breaking.
voice is
Earlier the voice was breaking. Okay. I'll just repeat. See, Mr. X has entered into a contract with the bank that on 31st December he will sell $1 lakh to him. So bank would not have sit down idle. Bank will not do that. Bank will cover itself. Whatever the $100,000 it's going to receive from Mr. X, it would have sold it in the interbank market at some rate. However, because Mr. X is now taking an early delivery, bank will not receive any $100,000 on 31st December. But to honor its contract of selling, bank will have to buy it from the interbank market. Now, at what rate bank will buy? So bank will also cover itself, forward cover. So on 30th November, bank knows that no dollar inflow will happen on 31st December. But it has a contract, it has to honor the contract. Because it covered itself by selling. So it will have to buy from the interbank market. This thing the bank knows on 30th November. So on 30th November itself, bank will enter into a forward contract to buy USD 100,000. Okay? Have you understood this concept? What is happening? Mr. X was giving bank $100,000 on 31st December. Bank entered into a forward contract with any other bank. And bank would also give this $100,000 to the other bank. So here this bank which we are talking about is buying from Mr. X and selling to the interbank. Okay. These two things should happen on 31st December. However, Mr. X on 30th November conveys to the bank I'll not be able to make payment on, not make a sale on 31st December. So on 28th of or on 30th of November, bank knows that it has to honor a contract on 31st December, but it has no money, no dollars receivable at that time, so as to make the sale of $100,000. So bank will enter into a forward contract to buy $100,000, right? So that on 31st December, bank will receive this $100,000 and bank will be able to honor the original contract the bank has entered with interbank market to sell the $100,000 which it will receive from Mr. X. So when bank will be buying the $100,000 from the market, The rate applicable to bank would be the ask together with swap points premium. So 65.27 and 65.15. Add this 15 points to that. So 65.27 and plus 15, 0.15. The new contract bank will enter will be at 65.42. Okay. So first thing what bank has to do is bank has to cover itself for the position it has taken because of Mr. X on 31st December. Right. So if I tell you that I'm going to make you a payment tomorrow or make you a payment on, let's say, 30th November, that you are made a commitment to sell to someone else. But now if I'm telling you today, I'm not going to make the payment on 30th November, you'll have to do something to arrange that payment from someone else, right? So that's the one thing bank will do, because it's not going to receive the payment on 31st December. It has to arrange this $100,000 from the open market or from the interbank market. So bank will enter into a forward contract where the bank will buy the $100,000 from at the ask rate, and it will enter into a forward contract. It will not take the risk that, let's see, whatever the rates are on 31st December, I'll buy from the open market there, spot market there, and will make the honor my contract. No. Bank knows on 30th November, no dollar inflow will happen on 31st December. So bank will cover itself on 30th November only for arranging the $100,000 for 31st December. Right? So the rate that is applicable for that is today. Okay. Now I'll just quickly try to sum up here once again what is happening because of this. So a quick recap, okay, of this question. It's very important to understand exactly what is happening. Otherwise, this will create confusion and problems. So what has happened? Let's write down from perspective here. 1. Mr. X entered into a forward contract with bank to sell 100,000 USD on 31st December. And bank covered its position. The rate agreed is 65.40. 2. Mr. X wants to sell on 30th November now. Okay. This is what is happening. So this is a case of early delivery. What will bank do? Bank will do two things. 1. Whatever dollar it receives on 30th November from Mr. X, it will sell it in spot market. Okay. Second, as now bank will not have any inflow of dollars on 31st December, it will cover it will enter into a forward contract to buy $100,000. So it is a 1 month contract, 1 month forward contract. Okay. Got it? So whatever the dollars it will receive from Mr. X on 30th November, it will sell it in the spot market. And as it will not have any dollars inflow on 31st December because it has been received in 30th November only. So it will cover itself in the forward market to buy $100,000 by getting into a 1 month forward contract in the interbank market, right? But it has been agreed, two things are agreed. Bank will pay Mr. X at the rate of 65.40 only, but bank will charge the loss, whatever the loss bank will incur, will charge from Mr. X. Okay. So think about it now what we should do. Looking at the spot rate and the swap points. Have you understood the concept here?
Yes, ma'am.
So what is happening? The payment which was supposed to come to the bank on 31st December is now coming on 30th November. So $1 lakh it will have to sell in the interbank market. It will sell at 65.22, right? Bank is selling. So bank will also get the bid rate, 65.22. However, the payment that will be made to Mr. X is 65.40. So that's a outflow of funds from the bank's perspective. Bank will have to pay extra. So bank will charge interest at the rate of 18% here. Bank cannot charge anything less than the prime lending rate, which is 18%. So first thing is whatever the loss bank will have, whatever the outflow of funds bank will have because of this situation, bank will charge interest to the customer on account of this. Secondly, bank will have to enter into a forward contract to buy $100,000 on 31st December. And ask rate will be applicable, right? So because of this whole transaction, two things are happening. Unnecessarily, bank has to sell on 30th November and forward contract has to be entered, forward purchase on 31st December. The rates
But
are...
the bank could choose to keep this foreign currency, dollars. Why should it sell in 30th November?
Generally, banks also cover themselves. They don't leave themselves unexposed.
Okay.
If you are receiving unexpectedly extra dollars, you have not planned for that, you will not keep it with you. You will sell it in the interbank rates. So let's look at the rates applicable: 65.40, 65.22, 27, and 10.15. So spot is 65.22 oblique 65.27 and forward premium swap points are 10.15. Okay. So for the bank has to sell on 30th November. What rate applicable?
65.22.
Perfect. And bank has to also enter into a forward contract on 31st December. What rate?
Yeah, 65.27 plus swap points 15.
Perfect. 65.27 plus 0.15. So 65.42. So two things are, and what is it the bank is paying to Mr. X now?
65,40,000.
Perfect. Very simple now. Once you have calculated all this, it becomes very simple. 65,40,000 is what bank is supposed to pay to Mr. X. And whatever he's paying, he's getting for that currency at 65,22,000. Right?
Yes.
So in
18,000
a
would be the
sense, unnecessarily on 30th November, bank has purchased at 65.40 from Mr. X and sold it in the market at 65.22. Good. So for that, there is an outflow of funds from bank's perspective. How much? 18,000. Right?
Yes, 18,000.
On 18,000, bank will charge interest.
18%.
So 18,000 into 18% for how many
3,240.
days? For how many days? From 30th November to 31st December, 31 days. This is the interest bank will charge. Okay. Got it? And there is a swap loss. How much is the swap loss? The thing which is he was supposed to not buy, he's selling at 65.22 and he's again buying at 65.42. Exchanging, no, this is a swap. $100,000, the bank had to sell at 65.22 and it has to buy at the forward market at 65.42. Clear?
Clear.
So two things will happen here. Do I have a space? No. Final out. Should I erase this concept? You can take a screenshot of this if you want. Whatever I've written, I'll delete this so that I can show you how you're going to present. Right? All right, we can look at the presentation in the next class. Let's focus on the MCQ. So one is the swap loss. For swap loss, you will say bank sells at 65.22 and bank enters into a forward purchase at 65.42. So there is a swap loss of 20 INR per dollar. So on 1 million, it becomes 20,000, right? Oh, 100,000. So 20,000 is the loss because of swap loss, which the customer will bear. And this interest cost the customer will bear. So it will be, create two tables or two working notes or two calculations. One is the interest cost and the other is the swap loss. So 18,000 into 18% for 31 days. The interest cost is 275.17. So let's round it off, 275 rupees. So the entire arrangement will be done. Mr. X will receive 1 lakh into 65.40. That is 65,40,000 less the exchange loss, which is 20,000 swap and interest. However, you can see that the bank may also have a benefit out of this transaction, you know. How the bank will have benefit if this was not 65.22 on 28th October, if this was, let's say, 65.52. So what is the bank doing? Buying from the customer at 65.40 and selling in the spot at 65.52. So instead of outflow of 18,000, there would be an inflow of 12,000. Here, it's the bank's discretion whether it wants to pass on the interest benefit to the customer or not. But if there is a loss, bank will definitely charge. We will discuss a little theoretically about the rules which are applicable here, and after that you will have more clarity. Okay? So this is how you're going to do this question. Right? Any doubts or question here? Fine, let's assume there are no doubts. Okay. Let's look at the MCQs for the day today. An Indian exporter is expecting to receive $50,000 in 3 months. Spot is 83, forward is 82.5. He wants to maximize the rupee inflow and he is expecting that INR will appreciate. We can also see in the spot and forward, INR appears to be at a premium. What strategy is best? In today's term, you are going to receive 50,000 into 83. If you book a forward contract, you are going to receive 50,000 into 82.5. So the dollar is at discount. But you want to maximize the rupee inflow and you are expecting INR to appreciate. Which strategy do you think is best? You can see that dollar is depreciating, rupee is appreciating. Even if you book a forward contract, you will incur a loss of 50 paisa. And if it is likely to expected to be appreciating even more, INR to appreciate even more, it might get to 80 also, which will ensure that you are having losses. You're not getting the rupee inflow maximum. So why don't you sell your USD at a price? Buy a put option. So even if the USD has depreciated a lot, you can at least sell it at a certain price. Okay? So buy a put option for 83.5 or something, then you are able to sell your dollars at 83.5 only. If you are getting a put option for more than 82.5, you should go for a put option on US dollars, right? Alternatively, if you're looking at money market hedge, that will also ensure, but that will not maximize the rupee inflow. Leaving unhedged means INR appreciating more chances of loss. Next question. Japanese company will receive 2 million in 6 months. Japanese company will receive USD 2 million in 6 months. USD is likely to depreciate. So when you are receiving a foreign currency, you don't want that foreign currency to depreciate. You want to lock your yen value. What would you do?
Buy a call option.
But call option will not lock. Call option will give you maximization of the yen value. Possible.
Forward contract.
Which one?
Buy US forward.
Why you are already receiving USD and you are again buying USD? Double, you will have 4 million USD then. Japanese company, when you have receivables, you have to create payables. Right? To hedge, you have to take the opposite position. Okay? If I'm going to receive something and I want to shed it off from my shoulders, I'll sell it, no?
Yes, right.
If I have to pay something and I want to cover it up, I'll buy from somewhere. So here I'll sell USD forward to lock the amount. Okay? Good. Next. What is money market hedge? What is the combination it involves?
Borrowing and investing in different currencies.
Perfect. A money market hedge involves borrowing and investing in different currencies. Good. If CIP, interest rate parity or covered interest parity, holds perfectly true, what is the outcome of a money market hedge and a forward hedge? If the exchange rate fluctuates with nothing else but just because of interest rates, and if covered interest parity holds perfectly, what will be the outcomes of money market hedge and forward hedge?
Identical outcome.
Exactly identical. Perfect. We'll prove it in the next session. Okay. All right. I would like you to take a small note of this summary. How you have to do if you have import payables, what do you do? What is the situation? You have a foreign currency payable. So you have to cover yourself how? You buy a foreign currency forward. And in money market, you borrow in the home currency and invest in foreign currency. What does this do? It locks your future payment. If you have export receivables, it means you are receiving foreign currency. That means how you will hedge? You can either sell the foreign currency forward or through money market, borrow the foreign currency and invest in home currency. This will again lock the future in options. You can use call and put options, which gives you the right but not the obligation. This you generally use when you are not sure in which direction the currency is going to move. Money market hedge is arbitrage based. You borrow in one currency, invest in another. So it kinds of create a synthetic forward hedge. And when covered interest parity holds, the forward and money market hedge will give identical outcomes. Okay. So that's all for the session today. Thank you so much, all of you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Your table in the last was very excellent. Comparison table.
Thank
It was
you.
one of the kind of we can say short note kind of a thing that we can refer for the last day for the examinations. The student, I hope you might have noted it down. And if possible, madam, in the next class you also disclose the same. Okay. So that the student can. So thank you very much for your session, because you have started with the MCQ and closed with the MCQs. So that made the concept very much clear to the student, I hope.
Yeah,
so student, and even student have very responding very well. So student, thank you very much for making this section interactive, and thank you, madam, for sparing your precious time.
Thank you, sir.
And enlightening the student on this topic. So student, revise whatever we have discussed in today's class, and if you have queries, so you can contact us. Madam, just yes.
Yeah.
3045.
340.
3045. 0120 3045.
Okay, sorry.
45 3045 956.
And sfm-final@icai.in.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, student. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Thank you, madam. Have a nice day. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.